Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Barrett. I'm a junior studying finance and accounting, and this is my presentation, AI's misuse in hiring. So the issue why it matters is that companies are misusing AI information and they are ultimately using AI to screen your resume to look for keywords and to give people interviews based on that. So why does this matter? First of all, I was actively looking for an internship and I had to put out 200 applications in order just to get an interview, which is an insane statistic that other people in my direct network were also impacted by. I know a lot of people didn't even get an interview. Some people didn't even get an offer. So it also affects them as well as everyone else who's applying for jobs. This is worth wearing awareness about because of the imbalance of corporate and government intervention. No one's really doing anything about it. They don't really know about it, and that's just not okay. Campaign strategy. Main channel I used was Instagram and in-person conversations because it was the easiest way to build a network in such a short time. My target audience was college students and recent graduates, which I identify using the stakeholder salience model, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. My core message was that AI should not be used in hiring. It's not okay that we are not connecting person to person and that a system is reviewing your resume when you're trying to apply for a job. So I gave this core message using stats, infographics, which were some of my posts, TED Talks, and narrative framing, where I really worked my message to appeal to people who are applying to jobs rather than how corporations were reviewing resumes. So pilot execution results, I started on June 1st, and then I ended on today, 29th. So I went for a total of 4 weeks. 3 posts were created, one being the infographic one. The other two were just statistics I was able to find. And then I would share the source and post those out and make them interesting for the audience. And then my story posts were several TED Talk links that I found, as well as other Instagram pages where they would post some sort of content that was relating to what I wanted to share. And I would share those out for people to view as well. So some quantitative data. My followers gained was 45. I had 7 total shares, 76 likes, 5 comments, and 3 DMs. My qualitative data, I never knew what companies were doing with my data in the hiring process, was something that Emma said in the comments, and then another one, Sam, said it was very informative. And overall, I had positive feedback, and the audience seemed extremely engaged, which was shocking. And the reason why is because I was using my direct network, and that worked extremely well. A lot of the people who were my followers were part of my fraternity, friends, family, or people I'm close to. And so they're also very engaged, which I found to be very surprising because since they were my direct friends, I thought that they were going to goof off a little bit, that they wouldn't really care, but they actually seemed to take the message to heart, and I really enjoyed that as well. And a lot of us would talk about it outside of the page. What didn't work was consistency. I was very inconsistent. My posting schedule was not that great. I had ambitious goals and did not use multiple platforms like I like to. Know I wanted to use like TikTok as well, but I just failed to reach that. I once again found it surprising just how engaged that they really were. We talked about a lot of things just around the house as well in the apartment. So what I would do differently, I would like to use a longer timeline. I feel like content creation really takes a large period of time and it's very difficult to do in 1 month. Most pages won't develop for several years. I like to have more consistent schedules, specifically using a content calendar, because I feel like that will help me to be more consistent and that will allow me to gain members outside of my direct network. So just to dive in some more on the frameworks that I use. First of all, I use the stakeholder salience model, which is very helpful at helping me to identify who had the power to create change. And although that would be governments and corporations who aren't doing anything about it, the fact is the more the rest of the people know about it, the more they can pressure these groups to make an actual change. I also use narrative framing to help me to identify how I want to persuade my message to people. So I really wanted to stay away from talking about how it can speed up the hiring process for corporations and how it can impact them. And I want to talk more about how this was going to take away people in HR's jobs, first of all. And then second of all, a lot more what I wanted to focus on since my target audience was college students is the impact it has in the hiring process and how that directly affects them. Lastly, corporate governments, I did create a couple posts to go into that on how there wasn't really any regulations for AI's use and that is something that needs to be regulated heavily. I know I saw a couple things come recently. This is something that they're talking about within the government, but until there's actual action taken, nothing's been done appropriately. So we're on the right track, but we need to keep pushing forward. Overall, it was a great, successful month, and I really would enjoy being able to do it again if I would just have more time to get it done. Thank you.